Greetings, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of State of the Build here on the Peak Auto YouTube channel. I'm Emily Reeves, your host, and I am in Flying Sparks Garage, my husband and I's shop, and as usual, we've got a great episode coming your way. We have Brent from PFI Speed that's going to join me today, and I'm about to send him a quick text message and kick this off. The way that we do this series is I literally text videos back and forth to my friends and fellow YouTubers and chat about a certain build. And we absolutely love it when you guys send us suggestions. If there's a YouTuber or content creator of any sort that you would like for us to check in on, just let us know. Say the word. We'll seek them out and we'll make it happen. Super stoked to chat with Brent today. Brent and I met on Rocky Mountain Race Week last year, and he was cruising with Cletus, and such a great dude. I am very excited to get a report on his completely raced out Honda Civic that is so far from stock, one of his favorite builds, and I am really excited to get an inside scoop on it. Brent, good morning to you, dude. I'm sure you're having a crazy busy day in the shop as usual, so I really appreciate you taking the time to toss some videos back and forth with me. I'm pretty freaking stoked to hear not only the current situation and plan for Bully, but the backstory. Tell me a little bit about how you found this car, how long you've had it, and was it always going to be a race car, or was it kind of one of those progressive things that happens to a lot of us?
Hey Emily, sure enough, we're having a pretty good day. Super busy. We got this little Hellcat on the dyno, and we're just trying to get everything accomplished today. And it's kind of beautiful. So the Bully, I actually got it back in 98, and around 99 is when I started making it a race car. And first I actually just caged the whole car. It's kind of where we started. It was going to be a quick class car back then, which is unibody, stock suspension. Usually they made around 650, 700 horsepower, ran in the low 10s. That's originally what I was building, and once I got the car back from the chassis shop, I learned that the entire cage was built out of the wrong material, too small, and all had to be cut out. There was a class coming up called Pro Front Wheel Drive, and I was at the SEMA show, and my buddy Ron Bergeholtz, who has a crazy Mazda 7-second car now, he's like, build a car for the class. And so that's kind of where this all started. So originally when I built the car, it had an F20C in it with a Power Glide and a 4.9-inch and a V-drive in it, and it looked really pretty sick. It was pretty awesome. And then the class kind of went away, and the NHRA stopped pushing the import cars, and there was a recession and everything else kind of went on. We really just kind of bunkered down and have been just working nonstop and dynoing and doing all that stuff. And the car kind of sat in the corner, and it's one of those cool things to talk about. And then you fast forward to the Boosted Boy days. The Boosted Boys originally came to the shop. They were here dynoing and doing their stuff with their Civics, and their fans in the background of their videos were always asking about the car, and it came up a couple times, and so it generated a little bit of excitement, and we were like, we should probably try to maybe do something with this. So then we started working on it again. At that time, it still had the 4-cylinder in it, and really, it made some power. It was pretty cool. Did some big flame burnouts, and it was just really cool.
Dude, what a history you have with this car. That is awesome. So it's seen a lot of renditions probably, and the current status of it is that it's powered by a 6-cylinder, right? Like a turbocharged 6-cylinder that is housed by a fully, looked like tube chassis to me, at least tubular front end. Man, that thing's a full race car, totally gutted, pretty impressive. You guys have put a lot of man hours into this car. So when will it be up and running? And is that a crazy question, or is it actually kind of soon?
You're awesome. It's it's been under a few renditions. It is a full tube chassis little hot rod Civic, and I actually learned how to do chassis work with this car. I kind of got taken advantage of a couple times by some chassis guys, and I decided, well, might as well learn, right? So it's the first tube chassis I ever built. Yeah, it turned out really cool. The first rendition also, we had the suspension right here in the middle of the car, so this whole front pivoted. It was a pivot chassis. The old front end is still that little, oh, wrong direction. That little deal over there. So it used to pivot in the middle, and what I was trying to accomplish with that was basically putting all the weight from the rear of the car to the front and having it all right here. So, you know, just trying to apply as much weight and power to the ground. This rendition, we're trying to have it up and going some point in May where we can start testing. It is a J32A Honda engine. They come out of like the minivans. Twin 80 millimeter turbos. So it should be in the neighborhood of, 1,600 to 1,800 horsepower. And the goal is to run, bottom sevens, high 6 second quarter miles. I'm actually bringing the Pro front wheel drive drag class back. The last Cletus and Cars, I got all my buddies together that were all in the class before and got them all excited. And everybody's working on their cars now, and we're looking to bring back a whole class and a bunch of older guys going out and racing again and trying to inspire some young guys to build some cars and, have a good time with it all.
Dude, you aren't trying to inspire people. You are inspiring people. I see your YouTube comments. You inspire so many people to get out there and work on their own stuff. Okay, so this car is going to be a gnarly. I mean, it's pretty wild that you pull that much horsepower out of a 6-cylinder, but I'm sure that you guys go through these motors and just like make everything forged and you put boost through them so they just build power. Oh, it's sick. So I'm curious because I watched some of the videos and I saw a lot of the front suspension components coming together, but I'm not as familiar with those setups. Is the rear suspension as important on a front wheel drive dragster? Because I think about like weight transfer and stuff. If all of the weight is in the front of the car, is there much weight transfer? Does that matter as much? Having like super beefy rear suspension on those cars? That's something I've always been curious about. Maybe a silly question, but I'm gonna ask it.
Well, Emily, there's nothing silly about your question at all. It's actually pretty good. So in the front, we do have these half shafts with the Porsche 930 CVs, similar to what you'd find in like an off-road car. And that's kind of how we make that all strong. This differential is actually Corvette C5, so you may know that type of stuff. And then the Power Glide. The rear suspension on this is just that. It is a straight tube tied to the chassis, and there's not any movement. What happens is the front tires will pick up, the tire growth, so it'll pick the front end up and it drops the back of the car like that, So what we do back here is we actually run, here it comes, we run a wheelie bar. We try to run a pretty long wheelie bar. Back in the day of NHRA, we had rules on how long that wheelie bar could be, but we use the wheelie bar as leverage for one, and extended wheelbase for two. Now, what I'm gonna do with this one is the wheelie bar is actually gonna be on a rocker shaft, and it'll be air controlled with a airbag, and it'll work off the trans brake. So when I let off the button, say I come off the button to launch, the bags will shove the rods down to the ground, so it'll give you a little push, and it'll keep the weight and power loaded in the front, because the car does wanna pick up and push everything backwards. So that's what we do with that. And I think you're pretty inspiring as well. This is a really cool medium to do this with. And, we all just love these hot rods. And if we can get everybody working on them and sharing ideas, maybe we can learn some stuff from someone else and make stuff that much better.
Thanks for saying that. That's real nice of you. I try to be inspiring and kind of just being a dork and showing people that you can build stuff without knowing everything. Well, that's really cool to know. So we've got Porsche axles in the Z car that we have, and of course Roxy's got a 9-inch with the IRS setup, beefed up half shafts too, so I'm all about that half shaft life. I like it. I would love to see those cars run. I actually haven't ever seen any front wheel drive dragsters run before. So is there anything that's going to be new and surprising with this build when it finally hits the track? Is there some part of this rendition of the car that people are going to go, what? He did that? So cool, dude. Proud of you. This is awesome.
All right, so the unique things we're doing with the Bully this time are the twin 80 millimeter turbos, and then that wheelie bar I was talking about. We're gonna have it actuated by air. So that's gonna be different. The other cars in the class are all fixed bars, and you'll see them as they're about to make the pass, run out And before they get to the line, everybody's adjusting it all out and trying to get it set up before you go. Doing it the way we're talking about is we shouldn't need to do that. We should be able to set it, forget it, and then just have a load sensor on the bar itself to say what we're doing, and then start dialing it in and making the car just more predictable. And that's all, any drag racing is finding the consistency and making it repeat that over and over. And then, depending on track conditions, figuring out what different things will take and having that information, applying it, making things faster and better. But I'm really stoked for this version of the build. We put just a lot more stuff in it to make a lot of power. So I think that's kind of exciting. It's pretty cool.
It's gonna make a lot of horsepower. That's pretty cool. Right? That's all of our goals, right? To make more power, but then actually getting it to the ground and being able to apply that power on the track is a feat. Oh my goodness, man, that's so rad. Well, I know that I will be keeping tabs on this build, and I can't wait to see you run it and hear those twin turbos sing. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be sick. The whole crew of guys you have in that shop put in so much love into each of the builds, and I definitely see that very evident on your YouTube channel. As far as following Brent, follow him on Instagram at PFI Speed. And then PFI Speed on YouTube. I'm sure you already follow him because he's killing it. Brent, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. We really, really appreciate you. We had a lot of folks wanting to see you on this series, so we were so happy that you could jump on and do this with us.
Thank you, Emily, for taking the time today and chill with me and just go back and forth. This was really cool. I think this was super fun. And appreciate it a lot. We're gonna keep trying and just keep inspired and keep making hot rods jam out and just have a good time. So thank you a bunch, and hope to see you soon.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Learning about a front wheel drive dragster was pretty cool. I had seen a few posts of his and wondered about stuff, so it was pretty cool to get some insider information on the inner workings of one of those cars. And man, did those guys do some awesome builds. As always, guys, if you have a YouTuber that you are interested in seeing on this series, please let us know in a comment below. And be sure to follow Peak Auto on Instagram and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like, comment, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Every little bit helps. As I always say and always mean, we really appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time.